Yo, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of Know the Ledge, where we're going to talk plenty of hip hop. As always, I'm your boy Prime. Source was good.
Prime, what up, though? It's early morning. It ain't really early, but it's morning on a Sunday, and the vibes are vibing already.
No doubt. And I want to welcome our special guest, our guy G Money from the Big Time Radio Network. G, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm up. I made it this time. I woke up, man. I had to make sure I got up because I screwed myself over last time. But I'm here. I'm grateful.
That's good. Here. That's good. We tried to get G on last time. My man had a heck of a night the night before. He didn't make it on with us. We did have our guy Dan the Mayor on, which you'll see him back at some point as well because we're gonna do plenty of these. But good morning, everybody, and we got a nice lineup for the podcast today. We're going to polish off a few more things, 80s, and then we're going to get into whatever, a lot of current stuff that's going on, some things that just happened, some 90s, whatever. But what I wanted to do as we get started here today, talking is hip hop. My man G, he got a show that he does this thing. G, tell us a little something real quick about your show, man.
Well, I got a radio network, and we got a bunch of different shows on the network, and I'll go through some of those later on if it's okay.
Yeah.
But for on Sundays, I do an old school hip hop show. I mean, that's like my thing. I love old school hip hop. So every Sunday, I have a show called Booming System. Shout out to LL. I have a show called Booming System, and we do just strictly old school hip hop. Ironically, one of the topics you got talking about today is some hip hop movies. Before I even knew that, today's show for me today, we have a show on our network called Real Voices, and where I need to figure out what I need to look at. We have a show on our network called Real Voices, and what that is a show about a lot to do with movies. And my host Gary, he plays strictly movie soundtracks. So I was kind of doing a shout out to him today. We're doing all hip hop movies soundtrack. Everything we play today is gonna be strictly from hip hop movies. Well, not even just hip hop movies, strictly from movies, but it's all hip hop, all old school. Shout out to my boy Source because I hit him up a couple weeks ago because I wanted to get his opinion on where the cutoff is as far as old school and new school. Because we're all around the same age, so
yeah.
We think we look at old school as a little bit different than anybody else might look at it because we know we were there.
Yeah.
Majority, we were there for the birth. Well, I was. We were there for the birth. Yeah. So it's like, a lot of people will consider like Kanye old school because he's not with this, but he's really not. So Shorts gave me the cutoff and I kind of go with that. So yeah, that's what we're about today.
No doubt.
Trying not to ramble.
Well, let me ask you this, G, real quick before we get into the first topic, because we talked about this last week and we didn't have you on with us. You didn't make it on with us. So when was the first time you heard hip hop and when did you actually fall in love with hip
hop? Like every other young, impressionable youth growing up, Run DMC was the first.
Word.
Run DMC. And I loved it, but I didn't become a fan until I watched Crush Groove. We went to the movies to see Crush Groove. That's what did it. And honestly, the initial person, even though I was loving Run DMC and the Fat Boys and stuff like that, the initial person that sparked that love was LL. When LL came in doing that scene, that's where I was like, okay, who is this? What is he doing? I love this. This is what I love, and I've been a fan ever since. But yeah, Crush Groove is what did it for me.
Yeah, so I wish we could have had G on. We did the running back for Crush Groove.
Crush Groove,
right?
Shout out to Play Underwood. Crush Groove did it for me.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, speaking of the old school, and we got a comment already, which is going to be great. We're going to dive right into this, and the first thing I wanted to talk about, because it crossed my mind last week, and then looking at some hip hop posts across social media, mainly Twitter, I went from liking Twitter to hating Twitter to back in love with Twitter again. I'm in love with Twitter now.
Hold on. Are you on Threads?
Yeah, I'm on Threads. I ain't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
I haven't even looked at it yet, but I was like, Twitter, Threads. I need to get on that joint.
Yeah,
Just look at it and see
Instagram,
what
you go
it
to
is. But yeah,
Threads. Yeah, Threads for Instagram, and then automatically integrates a lot of your stuff. Blah blah blah.
Right.
I think I made like 3 posts and nobody responded nothing yet, but I don't care. I'm just on it. It is what it is.
I'm on it, but I haven't joined it because I'm just nervous. Because someone said if you decide to cancel it, they'll cancel your
Cancel your
Instagram
whole
page.
Instagram. I saw that somewhere. I don't know how true it is, but I saw that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. So, but yeah, I'm on there. That's about the extent of it. So, but yeah, first up on the map, we're gonna go 80s, and I saw a hip hop debate on one of the Twitter folks that I follow, and there's some good folks on Twitter that specialize in this, and we were talking about EPMD, right? And it kind of crossed my mind last week when we were doing our show, but I want to get a little more in depth because a question came up, and it's something that I've thought about for quite a while. And the question is, does EPMD get the proper respect that that they deserve in this game of hip hop? Because there's various opinions about this. I even go back and I look at something, and it's not something we'll probably dive deep into today. That'd be a whole nother show, maybe next show. And it probably could have been this show based on the time. I just didn't have time to really mess with it. But Billboard, like, we really care for real. But Billboard has them as the 26th overall rap group in history. And I look at some of the people that they picked ahead of them, and there's some people behind it. But I'm going to give you a little context of what they had behind EPMD. All right. So they got Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince at 27. Again, EPMD is 26. They got Jazzy Jeff and them at 27. Gangstar at 29. BDP at 31. I can kind of understand depending on what angle they were going at. I didn't read their reasoning. Okay. But anyway. And then there's some other people, Kid and Play and Heavy D and the boys at 42 and 43. But overall, G, since you the guest, I'm going to start off with you. Do you feel like Eric and Parrish making dollars get the proper respect in this game of hip hop?
All right, do me one favor.
Yep.
Give me a couple people that's before them.
Yeah, I only had a list in front of me.
Okay, all right. Like you said,
I can tell you, City Girls is before them, and Migos.
See, stuff like that.
Wait, I'm sorry. I take that back.
Migos is, right?
Migos.
No, City Girls, I think, is behind them. I remember that.
Yeah,
but Migos is picked ahead of them. And say whatever you guys want to say. I can tell you on the next show, we're going to probably get deep into that list.
All right.
But
I might
go ahead.
want to do that one too. But yeah, I have a problem with. I'm not a fan, and it's hard for me because I run a radio station. I'm not a fan of the new stuff. I'm straight up honest. I'm not a fan of the new stuff. Not a fan of Migos at all. For them, to me, I think that's disrespectful if they put them ahead of EPMD, because you're talking about pioneers. Now I'm biased. I will admit, growing up, I favored Eric in the face. So people used to, like, he was dating, when I went to state, he was dating a girl that went to state. So I used to get mistaken from him all the time. People thought he was up there. So, but I've always been kind of, I always had a special part for EPMD. Love all the albums, but to think they're that high up, that low, in the list, I really would like to know who's ahead of them. I mean, it's ridiculous to me. It could be part of the issue, the history, breaking up. Supposedly Paris putting out a hit on Eric, stuff like that could affect it. But when you're talking about the music and what they did to the culture, I think that's disrespectful.
Yeah. And a lot of people say that, and it's all about culture. And you'd be surprised that when you read, if you're in some of these groups where folks will put that being a pioneer or doing something first has little to do with greatness. I don't get that part.
Yeah.
If you want to argue with me
greatness.
Yeah. If you want to argue with me that it doesn't automatically make somebody number one because they did it first, well, I'm gonna respect and give you that. But when you're going to just totally dismiss pioneering as any type of level of measuring stick, then I got a problem with it. But list on the list, beyond the list, just regardless source, how do you feel about EPMD overall, and are they underappreciated, undervalued? What's the deal?
I don't know about this list. I know EPMD is underappreciated, generally speaking, because you have some people that will bring them up when they're talking top tens. Then you have other people that won't say them at all and be talking about groups all day. So I think sometimes it's just what people know or what they follow. And I get it. If you're not a fan of EPMD, you might not dig that deep. But 26, probably in theory, probably it should be a little bit higher. But then you said Gangstar is after them, so that's a whole different set of issues in itself.
3 spots behind them.
Huh.
Yeah, 3 spots behind them. And there's various opinions about this. I see a comment here. As a matter of fact, it was our first comment. I think it was Brian Hunt. He had put EPMD was never my favorite. I do agree that they don't get the credit they deserve, but there are others in the same boat. I would agree. I definitely agree with that. There's definitely others, and I feel like if we're sitting here talking about overall legacy of the group, and even beyond just their music, we look at the people that they inspired, and then the folks that they gave us. I got a million.
Keith Murray. I mean,
yeah, Keith Murray. Yeah, and a lot of some people listening know, and some don't know. But I got a small bit of a piece of a history with that. I've been there. I was, not to go into the whole story, but of course I was in the rap competition when Das EFX got, discovered. I was also in the building when they first brought Redman to Richmond on a promotional tour, trying to put him out there, and he really only had one song, to be honest, that we'd heard. So, and I'm standing front stage, I'm so close that basically, what I'm saying, I got a little bit of a dap from my man, and I had no idea he was going to blow up the way that he was. But, either here or there, EPMD is giving us so much, man. And G, you mentioned the whole beef between them. They done broke up twice, I believe. They broke up 2 times and came back. Came back to us, and it's good to see them now in these the 50th anniversary of hip hop, doing all these shows and stuff. You see across the internet. They were doing a show last week. I forgot where they were. And I'm trying to remember who it was that was recording, that was giving us a clip of them on stage. But it's good to see them back at it again. But I definitely think they are underrated. And as we talked last week about just the culture of hip hop, and even as it pertains to a look, you think about it, they were really, really the first cats that made people really want to wear them fisherman caps. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying folks didn't have them on before them, but that became a staple with them a lot of times. Let's see what we got here. Somebody else. Here we go. Another one right here. Oh, okay. We're going to get to that then. My bad. Let's get back. We're going to go to that 3-album run. But I saw EPMD in there. But he does say in there, no, EPMD doesn't get the deserved respect. All right. So it's a lot of people that definitely feel that way. But I just wanted to give Eric and Paris, some love, because I definitely think they're underrated. And as I look at them, and I put them in the class to an extent. Run DMC is my group. But as we look at these albums, right? And of course, they've got one that's supposed to be coming. I forgot what it's called, Business Open. I forgot what it is anyway. I would put them in, especially early in their career, because the Source and I talked before, Run DMC being my favorite group. After I get past the first 4 albums, I listened to the other ones because those are my guys. But those first 4 were the albums to me, right? Definitely the first 3, undoubtedly the first 4. when I look at EPMD, I'm the same way as far as my fandom. I loved the first 4 albums. I mean, crazily. Even yeah, all the way down Business Number Person. Like, I loved them. The next two, okay, they were what they were. They weren't the '80s, but they were what they were, and they had some enjoyable music on them. But I definitely loved the first 4. Either y'all got any comments about these records?
30 days later, the LP went gold. I
So
mean,
what you
that just that line in itself. Because I was like, I remember hearing that line. I remember in the back of Jerome James' car. He used to play all EPMD. In the back of his car, I remember that line. 30 days later, the LP went gold. I was like, dang, they went gold. They went gold in 30 days. Like that's, and I didn't even know that much about hip hop at the time, like for real. But I just was surprised that they went gold that quickly. But yeah, banger, banger, banger. To me, banger, banger, banger. I remember buying Back in Business. I don't remember the album so much, but I remember buying that joint. And I don't know much about the last joint, which
out of
was
business?
out. No, 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 no. Is it but Out of Business? No, not this
That
one.
last album,
The one after
that
that.
last one, I think was Out of Business.
I thought it was. I don't know what I'm thinking about. Out of Business was 2008. No, no, no. We Mean Business. That's what I was thinking
We
about.
Need Business. Okay,
2000,
okay, I got you.
2000,
They did do it.
2008. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, EPMD fire joints, and I actually uh, a while ago, at least 6 months ago, I did a bootleg versus with EPMD and Gangstar, and that joint went crazy. It was funny because the people before it started, people was like, "Oh man, it's Gangstar easy, Gangstar blah blah." Man, EPMD came and smacking people out the first 3 joints, pop pop pop. I was like, "Yeah, oh, it's a little different now." Like y'all don't remember, or you just aren't thinking about it. Even I have been like, EPMD got like 12 good joints, blah blah. Blah. No, no, no. EPMD got joints on joints on joints. You just, I don't know. I don't think it goes back to not getting the credit or being as seen as other groups and appreciated as other groups.
Indeed, indeed. You got any more thoughts on that, G? Can't hear you, G. Yeah, can't hear you. I don't know if you. I'll say this while he's trying to see if he can get his mic straight. They have so many memorable tracks, and what I loved about EPMD is they just stuck to what they knew. Because I
Mm-hmm.
always looked at EPMD as uh, a hardcore underground group that was in the mainstream. You see what I'm saying? Because they kept it underground. They had songs straight from the underground. They inspired groups talking about straight from the soul. They signed. To me, they were the underground group that went mainstream and did numbers. Man, it had a profound effect on the game. You
UGK,
think? G?
UGK-ish. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
that.
Nah, you still can't hear you. Yeah. Make sure I
Go
didn't.
out and come back in.
Yeah, we can
Go
go
out
out
and
and
come
come
back.
back in. You want to try that? Yeah, try that. Try to go out and come back in, see what's up. But yeah, man, that's crazy, man. That is crazy. But Eric and Parrish making dollars straight out of Brentwood to let you know where they from. When we were mentioning the influence in the groups. Did we mention K Solo?
I don't think we did. K
I don't think we
Yeah, can't
mentioned K
forget K
Solo. I
Solo.
mean, they,
Spellbound.
yeah. Rest in peace, Hurricane G.
Yeah.
And they gave us some moments, man. See if we can get G situated in that. But yeah, 88 and 89 back-to-back bangers on that. And that's going to kind of tie in what we're going to get into next. And we'll get into it. And if G comes back in, um, you know, we'll make some things happen. He can jump right on there. Oh, there you go, right there.
All right, how about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good. You good.
All right. I don't know what happened. My bad. Piggybacking off what you said earlier, my opinion is I can take the first 2 albums, start to finish. the whole first two albums, start to finish, and don't skip a thing. I mean, we're talking Jane. Listen to my demo. We're talking tracks that are priceless, but people might not know them because back then we didn't have, especially back in the vinyl days. We didn't have the ability to skip. I mean, we could always pick up the needle and move it over, but that took too much work. So we had to listen to every track back to back. And I think that's why the older generation, has a better understanding, a better appreciation for the music than this generation. Because we were forced, and I say forced, it sounds bad, we were forced to listen to the whole thing.
I give it to you. I give it to you. And I would say that kind of ties in what you saying, like the first two albums. Because what I want to roll into next is I showed this graphic last week the last show that we were on 2 weeks ago, right? And of course, EPMD's first two albums are on this list. So when I look at this, I'm kind of thinking about debut or follow-up with the albums on this list. Now, I will say that with EPMD, since we're rolling out of that topic, I will admit that to me personally, if you want to take a certain time period, I don't know, we can go, I don't know what, 88, I think this came out in 89, so 88 to, I'll keep it short, 88 to 93 maybe, right in there. To me, it's one of the dopest follow-up albums ever. Like, it is ridiculously crazy. And Source was talking about his memories of first hearing the EPMD joints. I think about I was a freshman at VCU, and I remember always standing in front of Johnson Hall when I had nothing to do, waiting for them to open up the gym when we go down there and shoot basketball, and bumping that second album, Unfinished Business, crazily, with my song being Knick Knack Paddywhack. Because I just felt just right then, if K Solo never shined on anything, that song right there was unbelievably crazy to me. And it's still probably my favorite EPMD song on that album, even though everything on that album was dope. But looking at this whole spectrum right here, or at least these albums we have right here, which do you guys first think had the best 2-album run, and then pick who had the best follow-up?
Oh, I got mine already.
Go.
Me too.
LL follow-up. BDP follow-up. Public Enemy. Wait. Follow-up. I'm looking at the first album, that's Yo Bum Rush the Show, right?
Yo Bum Rush the Show.
That's the first one. All right, follow-up. And then EPMD. I'm pretty even on EPMD as far as debut or follow-up. But best 2-album run, you know what I would say. It's BDP. That's what it is. I don't know what else to tell you.
You think, G?
Criminal Minded is, in my opinion, one of the best hip-hop albums ever.
My man.
It's one of the best hip-hop albums ever. Again, LL, another pioneer, another great. He's the birth of my love of hip-hop, so I have to give it to him. I think commercially, Bad goes over radio just because it's commercial. Just because by the time Bad came out, you heard, I mean, there was more of a fire behind it. I'll be honest with you, I never really got into, like I said, I didn't get into Public Enemy. I thought the first Public Enemy album, this might be an unpopular opinion, I thought Public Enemy started up here and went down. Me personally. I personally think they went down. I think, and maybe because I don't know. Maybe I thought they were militant. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I loved the first album, But yeah, it's hard for me to even judge any of these on this rank thing because of Criminal Minded. Because every time I go to anything else, I see Criminal Minded. If you take that off this board, then I might have a better opinion of everything else. But to me, Criminal Minded is one of the greatest hip hop albums ever.
I feel you. I feel you. For me, the 2 album run for me is hard. It's really hard. So for me, it would be just a matter of preference. If I'm going 2 album run, much as I love Criminal Minded, I'd probably give it to LL for me.
Yeah.
And it's hard, bro. But if you're asking me debut or follow up, if I went group by group on all these albums, the debut would win 3 out of 4 for me. And I'm
Who
just
will be the fourth?
Huh?
Who will be the fourth that doesn't win?
Dude, EPMD, I like Unfinished Business better than I like Strictly Business.
Okay.
As a whole album. Okay? It's just me. And I love Strictly Business. The rest of them, though, it's about rawness. You know, the reason I love a lot of the 90s artists as well, when we talk about Nas and Illmatic, you know, Biggie, Ready to Die. A lot of these folks, it's something about a rawness and that hunger of wanting to get on and get your music out there that sometimes cannot be duplicated. And I felt that LL radio album, less commercial.
Right.
It was just raw. Like you listen to, you know, if you're an MC and you think about all the times that you swear you're making tapes and albums. I mean, I did it in people's basements, and you got a microphone and somebody got 2 turntables or 8 and 8, and you're trying and you're just spitting. LL's first album to me is just raw, and it symbolizes him being in that, you know, his grandma's apartment, whatever. And it's just raw. Criminal Minded, the same way. Criminal Minded, you think about a lot of this stuff is simplistic. We talked about the P is free last. We just about most of the versions. It sound like something that somebody just made at their house and then begged somebody to play it. But I love it. You know what I'm saying? You know, Elementary is fire. You know, all of that. Public Enemy. I know most people, and I'm with you to an extent, G. I love Public Enemy, but I'll be honest with you, I really only love these 2 albums.
Right.
Yeah, past that and the Fear of a Black Planet and all. Yeah, I owned them. Can't say I replayed them a lot outside of a single or 2. Public Enemy's first album to me is just so criminally underrated. And I'd be the first person to tell you I really only bought it at the time because of the cover. Cover looks sweet. You know what I'm saying? And but I love it. But out of all of these, the debut for me are more of my favorites, except for EPMD. In Unfinished Business, to me, I like better than Strictly. No, so
fair enough.
Indeed. Let's see what
Criminal
we got.
Minded, by all means necessary, unbeaten. Y'all talk about Criminal Minded.
Fire, though. Fire. You know, I try to tell you, we was in school when I was running. You know, they used to call me Chris Parker, and then my homeboy Kenneth, they used to call him Kenny Parker. You know what I'm saying? So just for the fact is we rolled around like, so I get it. Next up, let's touch on a couple of these hip hop movies, man. Hip hop movies are hip hop inspired movies. I'll start off though, and of course I don't have everything up here, but we'll start off with a couple of the lesser known movies, or a few of those that were hip hop inspired, whether it's by rap, breakdancing, whatever. But you guys remember all of these? All of these?
Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Hey, I'm trying to remember. This is what I'm trying to remember, right? Was it Breaking 1 or Breaking 2 when Turbo was out there dancing with the broom?
With the broom? That was the first one.
That's the first one, right? That's still floating across social media.
Yeah.
To this day. I seen somebody had a nasty TikTok, but they changed the music. And I wish I would have saved that drum, but it was fire. It was fire.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
CB4. I ain't gonna lie. CB4 is funny to me. I don't care what nobody say.
And I'm black, y'all. A lot of people don't remember Fear of a Black Hat, but pretty much was, it's parodies. It was CB4ish, really.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying you should remember it, but it just kind of, every time I think CB4, I think about Fear of a Black Hat. Well, who's the man?
Who's the Man is the movie that premiered Biggie.
Party and Bullshit. Yeah.
Who's the Man?
Yeah.
And that was Biggie's first, single. So, I remember seeing that movie.
That soundtrack was all right too. That soundtrack had some dope joints on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jodeci, yeah.
I got a couple of them I'm gonna hit today, but yeah, Who's the Man was good. Who's the Man was good. I like the way they threw in, like they did kind of like they threw in a lot of cameos. In my opinion, and Who's the Man was our generation's Blues Brothers. The way they threw cameos in and stuff like that. Who's the Man was our generation's Blues Brothers.
I like that. I never thought of it that way, but that's a dope thought.
Yeah. Like,
Who's the Man? I think I got that DVD around there somewhere. I did like all the cameos. Couldn't, it's a lot of people. There's a couple of people in that movie that ain't around no more. But
right.
I thought it was dope for what it was. None of them proclaimed to be actors, no great actors at all, but pretty dope. High rewatch value for me if I ain't got nothing to do. But yeah, that's probably the one that sticks out the most to me out of all of these on this list. Because when it came to breaking, I ain't gonna lie, I tried to break dance, but I really want no break dancer. That's when I really knew I had to try to rap. You feel me?
When you walk around with the cardboard paper, walking around.
Man, we had cardboard boxes, man. Them those big paper towel boxes and stuff, bro. You know what time it is. Next up, I got and this just be the only other slide. I realize there's tons of other movies out there, but these are some movies that are a little more known throughout the hip hop world. G, you mentioned Crush Groove, which is also a favorite of mine, and again the Run DMC part, of course, when they out there performing on the stage, it's like that. That's the whole build up. It's still one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my entire life. If you're a fan of hip hop shows, you will understand just energy. You can see energy on TV, but when you actually feel like you're a part of it, or you've been through
when the lights start blinking when they're on stage,
it's different.
Yeah.
That's just different. This is my house. When I say whose house, that's fire, man.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'd admit, G might not know this, but yeah, I just watched Crush Groove from start to finish for the first time in life.
Wow.
When we did the review of it, that's the first time I've seen the whole movie.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I say. I said, come on, Source. Come on, Source. But yeah, so
But being that you are who you are, as far as you have the knowledge of especially old school hip hop, it would probably blew your mind when you saw that. Because now you're at an age and you're at a point that you can really appreciate it. You can really appreciate the Fat Boys struggle to get on the stage. Shout out to my boys, New Edition, favorite group. I had to throw that in there, but New Edition was in that. But the Fat Boys struggle. But to learn that this was all about Russell Simmons, and to me, that this was all about Russell Simmons, and I think that was I don't think it gets as much credit as it is. And we can't forget Wild Styles. I don't know if you got that.
Yeah, Wild Style. That was 83. It came out before Breaking because Breaking was 84. Yeah. So 83. Yeah. Yep. Crush Groove was 85. Yeah, I agree. So I think G made a perfect point. If you saw this movie back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Not saying you don't appreciate it now, but I think your feeling will be, probably as hype as, G and I get, thinking about probably the first time or two that we saw this movie, because it's just crazy to me. The LL situation, of course, the rawness, the hunger, I want to get on, not taking no for an answer. And then, of course, the Run DMC, saying, when Russ was making them get on the stage, with Blair Underwood, of course, playing Russ, making them get on the stage when Run was about to try to be out, And then the love of that movie, when I found out that it was reported that they filmed that whole scene, the concert, the performance scene in one take. So you got the actual rawness of the crowd versus them telling them, okay, y'all get hyped when they do this. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things stand out to me. When I hear about it only took one take, I always go back to Eric B. and Rakim, most underrated song to me, Lyrics of Fury. When Rakim just blacks out, and then I find out, I'm trying to see who told the story. I don't know if it was Premier. Somebody tells a story that Rakim did that entire song in one take. It's something about that one take, and you can't duplicate that. It's just fire. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
B Street. That was what it was. We got a lot of the Christmas rap with Kool Mo D.
Right.
That was dope. I remember the crazy thing is the first time I saw that as a youngin', and I just wasn't paying attention. The first time I saw it, I didn't even pay attention that was Kool Mo D. Then I saw it.
I don't think I knew who Kool Mo D was the first time I saw it.
Huh? Oh, you didn't know it was?
I don't think I knew who it was. It wasn't until later I went back and said, "Oh, that's Kool Mo D."
Yeah.
But that was after I was told it was Kool Mo D, so I didn't even know. Yeah.
Yeah. That Christmas joint was hidden. What you guys think about the Disorderlies?
It served the purpose.
Yeah.
Let's do that. It gave the Fat Boys another platform because of Crush Groove, because of their rise in fame. It was a terrible movie. It really was. It really was. But it served its purpose.
It's good for a laugh or two, I thought.
Right. It served its purpose. Shout out to, Prince Mark D and Buffy, no longer with us, but yeah, it served its purpose.
So, did you ever see it?
Saw it, yeah. I agree with G. It served its purpose, and it gave them another platform. They did the comedic rap a lot of times, so you had that, and you had the comedy. It was hip hop.
Who they were. That's what they were.
That's what they were.
Yeah, hip hop branching out into kind of a Brandon type thing early on.
I felt that they tried to turn them into like the Three Stooges.
Three Stooges, yeah.
I think that's what they tried to do, and they failed.
Yeah, but like I say, I don't think it was that far of a reach though, because if you go back to even you think about when we heard in jail, you know what I'm saying, and then you see the video. That's who they were.
Well, I think All You Can Eat on the Crush Groove that was comical. So that's what they were. That's what they did. It's just
And of course, last on this list is the iconic House Party. House Party is, man, to me, even watching this, they talking about movies don't hold up. And granted, you watch them now, and of course, you see the outdated hairstyles and all that stuff. But man, a lot of that movie is still hilarious to me to this day. Especially rest in peace, Robin Harris, who would have been. I don't care what anybody says. Robin Harris was so funny, not only in this movie but just period. That to me, I honestly think he would have been one of the kings of comedy. Dude was funny, man.
What was funny is they tried to make 4/4 look like they were high school students. That was hilarious.
That was crazy.
Men. And they supposed to be in high school. Well, yeah, House Party is one of the. I think House Party kind of made it possible for them to be more hip hop movies later on down the line.
Yeah,
indeed. What up, Conway Liddy in the house?
So real quick, what are y'all opinion? Have y'all seen the new one? Did you see the new one? What was your opinion of that?
What, the House Party?
The new House Party.
That was trash.
Yeah.
I watched it to watch it. It was hard to get through, and I felt bad to an extent because I kind of like the kid Jacob Latimer, man. Yeah. I like the kid. I think he's pretty good actor. He's done a couple of pretty decent movies. It's really good on the Shy. I like him, but I just didn't like him in that movie. I like the movie, period.
I think if they would have named it something else, it
Mhm.
would have been at least watchable. You
Yeah,
already went in there
I
with a
give you that.
perception that it was, we already went in with a perception that was this house party, and they just ruined it. I I enjoy Kid Cudi. Was it Kid Cudi? Was that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I enjoyed his part. I enjoyed, how they threw in some of the old people from the original movie in there. But I like how they played homage to that. But I think it was a waste of. They shouldn't have named it House Party. They should have just named it something else. They really should have, because I think it really messed it up.
Source, I know you ain't see it. I already know this dude. I will say this, G, to piggyback off your point, though. I agree. Maybe they called it something else.
Yeah.
It's probably watchable because I think about some of the things they should have left alone. Like when they tried to do that number 2, the How High.
Yeah.
Bro, why?
Why?
How you gonna do Meth and Red like that? Why?
Without Meth and Red. Yeah.
Yeah, like this. Nah.
Something you just don't touch.
I'll watch the newer House Party 25 times before I watch that How High 2 or whatever it is again. And I didn't even watch it. I got about 20 minutes into it. And I had to turn it off. I can't do this. Do it.
Yeah. I think I saw like 5 minutes of it.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'll give anything a try. Like people were skeptical. Source and I briefly talked about it, but people were skeptical of watching like White Man Can't Jump, the remake. I watched that. It was okay. I thought it was okay. It was okay. Like it's not a horrible movie.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch that.
Yeah, it's not a horrible movie by any sense. It's watchable. Let's just say that. It'll never mess with the OG.
Right.
Of course.
And I'll be honest with you. LeBron James fan. That's the only reason I watched House Party. Because I know LeBron had something to do with it. That's really the only reason I watched it.
Oh, respect.
Yeah, that was it.
Robin Harris and Bernie Mac stand-up would have been special. Indeed. People don't understand. Robin Harris was not only funny in the House Party movie, he was just funny, period. Go back to the old Def Comedy Jams, then the joints with your man Robert Town. Dude was hilarious. I definitely think he would have been one of the kings of comedy.
And then you had the Bebe movie. So
Bebe Robin Harris was he was special. Bro.
Do the Right Thing.
Yeah. Do the Right Thing. Yep. Got my best piece on the day like this. Sweet Willie. But yeah, shout out to him. The one thing is, if I want to, my guys got to hold this L though, y'all. My group, Run DMC does have to hold this L because as good as we talk about Fresh Groove, y'all ever see Tougher Than Leather?
Oh my God,
Tougher
Than Leather. That was just stupid.
DMC getting out of jail, running Reagan, bro. I'm like, why? Only thing I really enjoyed was the Beastie Boys scene when they was performing. They was dope.
Oh, that was hard to watch. As a fan, you had to watch it. Run DMC. But that was hard to watch.
Went to the movies and stuff. I'm sitting there, man.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So that's an L Run DMC got the whole bro. I'm be real about it. Last thing I got, man, as far as these movies, it might have been the absolute. Well, it's on par. It's on par, if not worse than Tougher Than Leather. Did you guys ever go back in 1985 and see the movie Rapping?
Nope.
Mario Van Peebles, bro.
Mario.
This dude was a dude named Rappin' Hood. Not Robin Hood, but Rappin' Hood.
Rappin' Hood, yeah.
Wow.
He was an ex-con or somebody got out of jail or something. I barely remember it. And he was trying to save his community. Like, trying to picture, first of all, Mario Van Peebles is one thing.
But
the
part
movie
one.
is absolute. Now, I'm going to take that back. That joint is worse. That joint worse than Tougher Than Leather.
Yeah.
Don't even do it to yourself. I wouldn't even Google it, to be honest with you, man. Yeah. It's bad.
You shouldn't even mention it just now. You got a way to go through
Rapping
this
Hood.
live and erase that whole comment. Mario Van people somewhere right now saying, "Oh no, he didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't bring that up."
Yeah, I'm going to block
Remember
this.
Rapping Hood?
That had to be a check. That had to be a check. That he must have just needed a check or something. I don't know. That was just awful.
No doubt, no doubt. Let's get into something a little more recent, y'all. Let's go and talk about it. A couple of weeks ago, the iconic Busta Rhymes was inducted. Well, not inducted. He should be inducted to a Hall of Fame, but he was given a Lifetime Achievement Award by BET. And in my opinion, it was well deserved. Now, I did post something in our group, and I should have pulled it up. But it was everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But there was a young lady on social media on Twitter that was talking about that he didn't really deserve that award because his run was short, and outside of a 2 or 3 year span, what had he really done? Man, I was like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. And starts, of course, like everybody else started naming a billion people who should have got the award. Nobody says it's going to be the last award.
Right.
Some of them people y'all name going to get the award, whether they're dead or alive at some point. Okay, but the audacity to say that Busta Rhymes does not deserve a Lifetime Achievement Award. I'm getting a little heated just thinking about that comment. One of y'all just how you feel about that, man?
Busta not only deserves it. No, this is not a knock on BET. Busta not only deserves it, but he deserves a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Grammys. Busta. I'm a firm believer that Busta, and a lot of people argue with this, Busta has one of the best features than anybody else. When Busta shows up, Busta's one of the people that when he shows up to a song, it's no longer anybody else's song. It's his song. It's his song. I think Source had made a post about this once before. When Busta shows up to a song, it is no longer his song. It's no longer their song. It's Busta's song. Ooh. And he did that from the beginning from Scenario. When he was still with Leaders of the New School. It becomes his song. Now, the only one I'll not give him, because I'm a Biggie fan, is Craig Maxwell. That's the only one I'm not gonna give him. And only because I'm a Biggie fan. Now, if you take Biggie out, then yeah, I'm gonna have to get out.
Flavors in your ass cheeks.
Yeah. Easily deserving.
Source.
Man, that's my birthday brethren right there, Busta Rhymes, May 20th.
My mom's too.
Yeah, of course. Yes, indeed. Busta deserves the award. I don't know why anybody would argue this. As he mentioned, he kind of pioneered the feature. And as mentioned, when Busta's on your record, one, people wait for Busta to be on the record. Or somebody sees Busta on the record, they're going to get the record. They're going to find that record. I actually got 1-2-ish by Tribe. It was only on wax. I ain't have turntable the first, but I still bought that wax because I was like, one day I'm gonna hit this song. I don't know how I heard it. I don't know how I heard it later, like before the Love Movement came out, because it was a bonus track on the Love Movement, but I heard it before that. I don't know how though. I don't know how. It couldn't have been on my wax because, again, I didn't have any turntables. But yeah, Busta deserves all the flowers, and everybody mentions Busta, but nobody mentions Busta. And I know why. It's because, not to turn this into a negative moment, it's because Busta doesn't have what I would consider a classic album. He doesn't have a classic album. So I think that is why some people don't credit Busta as much. But when you ask the people in the industry, nobody wants to go on after KRS-One, rest in peace DMX, and Busta. that's the ones that nobody wants to follow on that stage. So he is that.
Yeah, you know what else I saw? People were going off about Busta Rhymes too, because they were saying when he brought up like the the folks from the Caribbean, and he was doing the reggae hip hop. People were upset because they was talking about he was saying that hip hop actually originated in Jamaica. Like people were really going in on social media about it. I'm like, really, this is what we've gotten to here. Y'all all tied up in your feelings about you don't like somebody or they're gonna discredit them because you feel like they saying hip hop actually originated somewhere else. It's just people are crazy. They're entitled to their own opinion, but people are crazy. But to say that Busta doesn't deserve an award, a man who not only, as you mentioned and he mentioned, pioneered the feature, work with so many R&B artists, it's ridiculous. Like,
right.
Soon as Khalees gets him on that, he's on the joint with Khalees, oh yeah, that's right, that's Khalees. You know what I'm saying? Mariah didn't need Busta to be Mariah, but daggone, he made that joint fire. Like, it's crazy. A man that Mary J. Blige with the 411 album basically is just one of the most notable albums of debuts out there, period. But people remember that interlude. Like, it's just his voice it's crazy. A man that can interact with not only hip hop artists, but have the profound effect that he's had on songs with R&B artists. I mean, you name somebody else who's really, really had that. I mean, sure, you can come up with one or two people that have done some great things. I can think of probably a more recent artist now that, of course, everything he touches is going to be on the radio. But Busta definitely deserves it, and is even more special the fact that he hasn't had a classic album, even though I thoroughly enjoyed just about all his work, especially the early stuff, the Coming and When Disaster Strikes. If you ever seen Busta in concert, like, forget what you see on TV. If you ever seen him in concert, you're gonna be tired when you leave. It's just what it is. So I put him up there with Dougie when it comes to stage shows. Yeah, Dougie to me has lived up to his name, but Busta, yeah, you're gonna be tired when you leave, bro. Get your so it's like you got your steps in. So that's problem. Y'all got anything else about Busta?
You didn't mention Janet. Sorry.
Dang. How did I forget Janet Jackson? Yeah. Thank you, Jim.
I'm contractually obligated to mention
I'm slipping.
Jackson person.
I am slipping.
I figured you didn't mention it because it was Busta's song. But Janet did say,
you know what? It was Busta's song. Okay.
I tell you this. I would I always wanted the man. What if we could have got an album with him and Missy together, like a whole album?
I mean, it would have been energetic.
Definitely on people's playlists when they hit goals, right? When they hit goals, Jim.
Videos would have been out of control.
No doubt. So shout out to Busta, man. I think we all agree that Busta Rhymes deserves. I love the speech that he gave too. And it's crazy that he gave that speech because earlier that day, we were just having that conversation with Dan Source about today's music. Mm-hmm. Busta pretty much echoes the sentiment of a lot of us. I think most of us agree. I know G said he can't get into today's music. I'm probably 95% of it I'm not into. I'm not blind that there are a couple of joints that come out every year that I actually do like, and so I'm not gonna hate on them. Let them have their time, and Busta, I think Busta did a great job of explaining it and letting our generation know, no matter how you feel about it, let them do their thing. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of it is because of what he went through as well. So he knows, he knows. So I love that message he gave. I really hope people will listen. I ain't got to listen. I'm just going to keep it moving, but I ain't going to waste my time, down in it. I just ain't got to listen to it, what I don't want to listen to.
I do think it's there's some people out here now that have that are making it better. New music today. I think some of the my problem is, and this is the same thing Bow Wow said a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's cookie cutter. It's the same thing over and over. We get every now and then we'll get somebody that'll change the game and will do something different. But I think my main problem with it is that it all sounds the same to me.
Hey, Source, you heard Bow Wow's comments?
Yeah, and that's not. I mean, I disagree. I disagree. And the first problem, if you agree with Bow Wow, you know something's wrong, because there's nothing good about agreeing with Bow Wow or much. But I understand people say it sounds the same, and some it does. And some of it sounds the same. I totally agree with that. However, it's so much music out here that if you want to listen to something else, that's not a good reason not to listen to a new artist. Like, just say you don't want to listen to them. I mean, I don't necessarily go looking for new artists first, but there's a million artists out here. There's a million artists, especially in comparison to what we had. I think people get caught up in wanting to hear it and everybody else know it, or be on the radio for whatever reason. Like, that's the only music. That ain't the only music. Is a million artists out here that are dope. They boom bap. It's everything. Everything is out here. You just got to find it.
I think a lot of the comments that a lot of people are making, especially the older heads, is because I think it's really pertaining to mainly what's on the radio. Because you make a good point, and Dan made a good point. It's a lot of music out here that we probably love. That's even a newer artist. You do have to go find it. Not everything is making it to the radio station or making it to. There's very few video channels. I mean, shout out to Puffy. Puffy still show videos, on the Revolt joint, sometimes. But it's hard. It's crazy because I ain't gonna lie. At one point, I was like, are they still making videos? Because I'm like, I ain't seen videos to these newer songs, but then I go to YouTube. Yeah, they still making videos, but but yeah, it's music out here. You just got to go find it, man. But I piggybacking off of what G said earlier, I don't discard everybody, because some people I understand, and to me, I personally like. A lot of people look at me like, "Come on, man, you're an old head. There's no way." But I like Cardi B. I don't care.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Busta, right? You know that was gonna be Busta's song. You put Cardi on the song, that's hers. Off top, you already know when Cardi B gets on your record, that's her record. You don't get a hit. It's gonna be all love. You can just stand on the stage with her at the awards performance. Her record. So, but yeah, I get it. But once again, I will admit I was a guy a few years ago saying, yeah, man, all this, that, and whatever. And I thought about it. I said, you know what? You just ain't gotta listen to it if you don't like it. But I'll give anything a shot, what's your boy? Now what's the kid? Not Moneybag, Finesse 2 Time, right? I ain't even gonna lie. I ain't out here buying Finesse's album. He done made 1 or 2 joints. I ain't gonna lie. I'm in the car. Yeah, it is what it is.
I do a radio show every lunchtime, and my co-host is younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
So she brings in a younger crowd, so I have to play younger music. And I'll admit some stuff I'm like, but it's the funny thing is some of the newer stuff. The main reason I like it is because it has samples from the older stuff.
Yeah,
like The Weeknd and 21 Savage. They got a song called "Creeping."
Mm-hmm.
Which is just, it's Puffy's I Don't Want to Know. It's Marvin Wine. I Don't Want to Know.
Heavy radio play.
I like that. I mean, I like because I feel like they're giving respect to older songs.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time getting into some of these, like you said, NBA and all these Lil and all these ASAPs, and I don't know. I'm starting to sound like our parents. You know what I mean? Who used to say that about us, and that's kind of depressing. Because I probably thought I'd never be like that.
That's my thought. Yeah. That was my main thought on why I don't,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hate on. Let them do their thing. Let just their lane. My iPhone and my radio. I can play what I want to play and listen to what I want to listen to. And I ain't got to down them to do it. Let them do their thing. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see 20, 25 years from now what that generation is saying about their music.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let them have it. Respect to them. You make good product, I might listen. If not, continue to make the product you want to make. That's the way I look at it. I definitely want to get y'all's perspective on this. G, I don't know if you really looked into this or paid attention to it. I know Source has, so I'm gonna ask you first. What you think about this whole Jim Jones Pusha T situation, bro?
I can't. I saw it on one of the social medias.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't pay much attention to it, so I wouldn't. It wouldn't be right for me to even comment.
Okay.
Pusha T, I like Pusha T. I don't particularly like Jim Jones, so I think he's I think he was a pretty okay rapper that took what he had and parlayed it into a reality show star, and he's searching for some clout by going after somebody and going after it in a personal way. But other than that, I don't get that much credence to anything coming out of his mouth.
Source.
Mm-hmm. This battle is it really, I can't even say it's a battle for real, because Pusha didn't even release a song. The song was in Pharrell's what's it called? The model joint. I forgot where it was. Louis Vuitton joint.
Mm-hmm.
When Pharrell had the on the runway. That was the runway joint when clips were in the what? The modeling show. Whatever it's called. Anyway, but the whole thing started from Jim Jones giving an opinion. Now, Jim Jones gave an opinion, and I think after he gave the opinion, it would have been fine. It would have been nothing. But then he was on another show and gave the opinion again, and then went deeper into the opinion, and then he was kind of, little shots here and there, and little unnecessary things were said. So here we are. Pusha responded because Pusha is, as he would say, petty. He's petty, and there's no rules. So Pusha ain't really hit him. Pusha ain't really did nothing for real. That was just a warning shot. And you got Jim making a joint, and the joint wasn't terrible. Like a lot of people, it wasn't terrible. It was fine. But it's no competition as far as rapping skill, or there's no competition, not even close. But yeah, it's all for the entertainment. Jim is happy regardless because he getting more pub, and more pub means more eyes. More eyes means more dollars, and that's all Jim care about. Harlem don't lose. Even if they lose, they win because they like, well, it's just publicity anyway. So he don't care for real.
Yeah, so basically, it started because I believe he was with Envy and Charlemagne, and he said something to the effect that Pusha wasn't first he said he wasn't a top 50 rapper. Then I think he kind of cleaned it up. He said he's not on my top 50 list or something like that.
That was the second time. That was the second interview.
The second time?
He said it before that, yeah.
Okay. And that's his opinion. Now, my only thing is, this definitely has to be for publicity. Is he trying to come out and release something new? Because Jim gonna beat Jim. I ain't got no problem with Jim Jones. I actually thought that he had a couple of his projects were okay. The Pray for Rain joint, I thought that was okay. It might have had 3-4 songs I like. He had the other one, I can't think of the name, was the Black and Red. I can't even say it. 1 or 2 songs was okay. He said some okay songs, dude.
Ballin' was my jump.
What's that?
Ballin'. That was one of my
Ballin' fire.
Yeah.
Ballin''s anthem. That's anthem worthy right there.
Yeah.
Even like the Summer Miami joint with him and Trey with Trey Songz. That's fire.
Miami. Yes, sir.
But can you really be? My only question is, can you really diss a guy like Pusha, and you not even close to the dopest guy in your crew?
Right.
I guess if you in the crew, because we really found out that him and Cameron really ain't that close. Like, Cameron is quick to let you know that they ain't really my boy, You know, him and Jewels was all right and blah, 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 and we here and there. But you know, on probably Dipset's biggest song, The Diplomats without a Dipset anthem. When you think of Dipset, most people think about Jewels coming out the box on this song. You know, I don't know. If you far from the dopest cat in your crew, can you really throw anything at a guy like Pusha? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, right. Why not? Why can't you give an opinion?
You will, but I mean, come on, bro. Like
so basically, I mean, Jeff Van Gundy can't give no opinions on basketball.
He didn't give an opinion.
But you say you just said Jim K.
Van Gundy gets special privileges around here.
But to go back on Busta, that's like when what's the name? Charlie Brown went after Busta, one of the members of the Leaders of the New School. Like you're not in that. You're not even top in this group. How you go come after me? So
I don't know. Hold on, bro. It wasn't Busta and Leaders of the New School. Charlie Brown and Busta were like this. Charlie Brown and Busta were like this. You are the first person I've ever heard say that. Literally the first person I've ever heard say that. That's crazy.
No, Busta did have Charlie had issues with him.
Yeah, he's talking about
no, as far as quality in the group.
Quality in it.
Oh, okay.
I measure quality by the fact that Busta just got that Lifetime Achievement Award, and Charlie Brown served me my burger the other day at McDonald's. That's the way I look at it.
That's hindsight. No, man, come on now. That's hindsight. That's hindsight. Nobody said that at the time. You're saying that now based on what happened afterwards.
Okay.
At the time,
I give you that.
Come on, man.
I give you that. Okay. I give you that.
Yeah. But Jim gonna be Jim. Jim gonna be Jim. You know, you can say what he want to say, bro, but Jim gonna be Jim. It just, you know, for me, you gonna come at somebody like Pusha, which a lot of folks gonna vastly disagree with his opinion on Pusha. You gotta at least be like, great. Yeah, he ain't like. Let's be honest. Outside,
remember this moment. Remember this moment.
Yeah, Pusha come back. Pusha gonna crush him if he decides to respond. If he decides to respond, Jim don't want that smoke, bro.
Right.
You know, Cameron trying to stay neutral, like, you know, on it, even though him and Jim ain't that close. But it's kind of, if you look at Cameron's comments, it's kind of like he kind of egging it on just a little bit. It's like, I mean, you know, come on, you know, Pusha, you ain't really. So like they want something to happen.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Hey, I bet you Pusha. Hey, say what you want, the crew or not. I bet you Pusha come out there and crush him. Cam gonna clown Jim, and that's, you know.
Oh yeah.
And hard. Cam has no problem with that. So I don't know. But last thing we got, fellas, man, before we get up out here. So I know you talked about it on, you had the I think you had TikTok. I know you had it in your background, but of course it's been in the group. Pretty sure you've had some conversations about this, and we're gonna talk about the greatest 3 album run. At first, we can start with this list, but also if there's another artist that had a 3 album run that you think was better, you can say that one too. But here was the list, and hopefully everybody can see. It's kind of small, but we got up top. I'm trying to put it in myself.
We got Kendrick. You want me to read them all?
Yeah, read them all.
Yeah, we got Kendrick, and we got Nas. We got DMX, Beanie Siegel. I don't know how Beanie Siegel got on this list, but Tupac, Outkast, Weezy F Baby, Please Say the Baby, Missy, M, Luda, Kanye, Rick Ross, T.I., and Tribe.
Fire list right here.
It is. It's heavy.
Because when I first saw this list, because I saw it, I was like, I felt like I was doing somebody wrong. I really started to feel bad. I kind of got in my feelings. I'm like, yeah, it's got to be, but it could be. I'm satisfied with my first and the second one by a hair, and then I look at the third one, and I'm like, come on, man, this ain't even right. So you ask how Beans got up there. Somebody from Philly probably made this list. So
hey, this list is tough though. It's tough. Shout out to Cuzzo
Philly, New
Steve
York.
Mosley. I think Steve posted this joint. I saw it in this group. I saw it on the SBP or in the SBP. That's where I got it from. So definitely the SBP gets credit for that.
What y'all think?
I mean, I can give mine without a hesitation. I already know mine. DMX. And mainly because those first two were in the same year.
Mm-hmm.
Those first two were in the same year. Who debuts an album, CD, and it's fire, and then 5 months later brings out another one that's just as much fire? Easily, to me, DMX. Easily.
G, who would be your second then?
Jay-Z.
Like Jay?
Yeah, I don't think y'all said. Is he on there?
No.
Yeah. No,
He's not on there, but
no. Okay,
more than welcome. So you said Jay-Z.
I've never been y'all gonna hate me on this. I've never been a Nas fan.
Okay.
Never been, and y'all got me on this before. Never been an Outkast fan. But if I was to go through this, DMX is in my top. I'm a huge Eminem fan, so Eminem is in there too. Kanye, yeah, but in my opinion, because Kanye kind of fell off a little bit, I don't know. But if I'm gonna have to give three, it would be those three. And you got to throw Trav. You're right. It's hard because you got to throw Trav in there too. It's hard. It's hard. But number one for me is not hard. DMX.
Source.
Bro, I looked at this joint. I don't know how many times. I kept not giving an answer. I did a whole live yesterday. And this was the topic, and it lasted for like almost 4 hours. And
wow.
I never gave an opinion because look at it. I don't think I ever gave an opinion. But if I had to choose, of course, Tribe is my favorite group, but I'm not picking Tribe. Outkast has 3 pretty flawless albums in a row. Bang, bang, bang. Like, that's tough to beat. Kendrick, if Kendrick's wasn't, like, I can't speak to Section 80 that much, but if it was Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, and Damn, then that would be close because that's crazy. Like, he's got classic joints straight through. Even Section 80, depending on who you ask. And Kanye's 3 is crazy as well. That's debut. That's out the gate. So that Kanye is tough. If I had to pick, and I had to put I can't put my biases aside on this one. I'm going Outkast.
Yeah, it was tough. I think in the group, I answered Outkast. And I just have so much, especially I love Southern Playlist. Nobody talks about that, but I love that album more than I love the next two, and I love the next two. But I went Outkast by the smallest of margins over DMX. But G made my point. that 98 run with those first 2 albums was ridiculous. And not only did come out with a super fire album months later, but come out the very next year with another album which is on par fire-wise with the other 2. Like, that's ridiculous. It's like we always hear about artists having all these songs in the vault and they release them later and they sprinkle them out here, there. We might hear certain songs later. If he had everything in a vault, him and Swizz and whoever else, they had all this shown in a vault and just release them. They had a vault full of fire stuff. Like, that is unheard of, what he did. But I want to shout out our guy Dorian Bryant too. And I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but he brought up something, man. Like, early T.I. was different. Early T.I. was different. You talk about beats, you talk about anthems. Those first 3 albums, especially the first 2, what I enjoyed the most, were something just different, bro. I kind of compare it when I talk to people about mixtape Wheezy when Wheezy first came out. Like it's just different. And to Greg's point about the Nas situation, um, yeah, I am takes it off the list for me. Not that I don't like the album, but I am is nowhere near.
Right.
And first of all, it ain't nowhere close to in eyesight of Illmatic, and it's not even near. It was written so. That I am out takes this. I don't even that would I'll be honest with you, much as I love Nas, I love Nas. He's arguably like my guy, from the 90s crowd, but I don't even know if I would put this on. I would put his run on the list because of I Am. Which I think is still a okay album. Right, but yeah, it's some fire stuff on here.
You got to mention Ice Cube, just first 3, just in retrospect. And for me, I'm mentioning the Roots second, third, and fourth joints, and De La second, third, and fourth joints from De La Soul is Dead, Balloon Mind State, and Stakes is High. That's tough. That's
I've
tough.
been playing the mess out of Stakes is High lately. Like I can't stop playing that album.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been saying Balloon Mind State is my favorite De La album.
Mm-hmm.
But for real, it might be Stakes is High. It might be. I might have to reevaluate for real.
Yeah, so dope list to choose from all together. I pretty much agree with just about everything that you guys said on that. Yeah, but I want to shout out DB again for. I don't know if I had to be reminded, but T.I. got some fire, man. And he had some fire early for sure. That's all I got today, fellas. Anything that you guys want to talk about, bring up, shout out, anything like that?
Get your plugs in, G.
All right, I had a ball, y'all. Thank y'all for letting me come on. I'm about to hit up with my show, but if I can, I want to shout out my network. It's called Big Time Radio Network. It means a lot to me, mainly because of y'all. Because when a lot of people don't know that when I started this, when I started Big Time Radio Network a few years ago, me and my boy Chuck, we wanted to do a sports show, and I already knew Chris because I used to come up to his job, because my boy worked with him. So me and Chris used to always talk sports and stuff all the time, and I was always I always admired his knowledge of sports. So when we were thinking about doing a sports show, he was like, well, "What about Chris?" I'm like, "Chris who?" Well, he said, "What about Prime?" I'm like, "Who's that?" And he told me, I'm like, "Okay, bet." And then we did, the first inkling of this, and then when you brought in Source, it turned this whole thing. It turned y'all into something huge. I had no idea y'all were gonna be as big as this, but I always admired both of y'all knowledge of sports, mainly because the way y'all talked about it is y'all knew everything. I'm a fan. Like you asked me something about LeBron, you asked me something about Tom Brady or something like that. I know, but if I asked you who was the Cleveland Browns #1 pick in '87, Chris will probably know it. You know what I mean? It's just stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I always was impressed with that. I mean, y'all know stats. Like when I listen to y'all on the show sometimes, or even y'all know stats. Y'all know stuff that don't no normal person should know. It's like y'all have a different, and I'm crazy about the being allowed to be part of that for somebody that doesn't know sports like that. Y'all have brought that out on me. But as I was saying, I got a radio network called Big Time Radio Network. I'm about to do a show right now. It's called Boomer System, which is an old school hip hop show. We're doing straight movie stuff today. Coming from the same realm as my boy Gary, he has a show called Real Voices that he plays exclusively movie soundtracks, and he interviews up and coming industry people that from the movies and writers, key grips, different things. A lot of people don't know there's more behind a movie than just the writer and director. So he interviews that stuff like that. But another thing I wanted to make sure I hit with y'all before I get out of here is that I want to publicly put an invite out to y'all. We have a show we're starting out called Fantastic. And what that is it's a sports show. And we're looking for guests. And what the guests are is, unlike ESPN and stuff like that, you got commentators who know about certain things. We want it coming from a fan aspect. So we want to come on and have Chris talk about the Knicks, sorry. And I used to always mess with Chris about the Knicks. Well, this different stuff like that. It's just different. We want to be able to have some people on, and I want to make sure I put this invitation out to y'all. We haven't started it yet. We're in the process of doing it, but I would love for y'all to be one of the first 2 guests on there. And
let me know.
It's definitely gonna be a head-to-head type thing. I don't know how y'all are knowledgeable and y'all passionate, so stuff like that will really work. I just think I'll make sure I'm putting out this invitation to y'all. And whenever y'all want to come to the old, the Boomer System and talk old school, we can do that too. But I just want to thank y'all for letting me be on today. So if y'all don't mind, can I put a link to my show in the comments? All right, so I'm gonna do that right now. Put a link to the show in the comments, and y'all make sure if y'all listening, just check it out, man. We're about to have some fun. Like I said, we're doing all old school soundtracks, and hopefully I'll get it done right. No, nothing past 2005. I think that's what source. Nothing past 2005. Yeah, maybe 2003.
And that's dope, man. And we appreciate everything you done for us as well. And I always tell people all the time. I had somebody ask me before that was like, "Man, y'all got so much going on. Why don't y'all? Everything is great, man. But why don't you split everything up, man, and have different Facebook pages?" And I said, "Nah, because I'm lazy. I'm lazy as it is. Source got a lot more energy than me. Sometimes Source like talking to people. I like talking to people sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So it depends how I'm feeling. But nah, and but no, real talk. I'm just I was like, look, we'll just take it slow. We started off with just sports, and we moved into hip hop, some other things. Sports. The SBP is short for Sports Bar Podcast. Sports is our thing, but hip hop, television, and movies are always in play. I said, I figured we can just go ahead and get it all in one place. That way, I ain't got to do nothing extra. And then folks can listen to what they want to listen to when they want to listen to. We know everybody who's a sports fan might not be a hip-hop fan. We know sometimes people might not want to hear us talk about movies, but there is an audience in the crowd for it. So you get to pick what you want. We let you know ahead of time on what it is, man. So that's just what we do. And I think on the next joint, well, I don't know if it's the next week or the week after, whatever, G, and I'll get with you if you want to come back. We are going to get into that that list, that 50 list.
Okay.
It'll probably be a show in itself. Maybe throw 1 or 2 quick things in there, but I'm pretty sure that'll take up some time talking about that. So we'll, once we figure out how the schedule is working, between Source and I, but we'll let you know and see if you're available. And I'm sure might have to be 4 because I'm pretty sure Dan might want to be a part of that as well. So we'll see what's going on. Source, you got any parting words for the people today?
Hey, look, if y'all are around TikTok, I feel like I'm about to just go ahead and I know somebody be like, dive heavy into it. You're already heavy into it, but I feel like I'm about to be popping up. No, if you missed Thursday night, I'm just saying, Thursday night I had the most engagement, I'd say, on any live. It was like 200 people in the room for a long time. It was like 100 people most of the time, but it was 200 for a while. At one point, it popped up to 700. I was like, what is going on? Because it's never more than 30-ish, 30, 35. But I did Bootleg versus Big Boy versus Andre. That joint was fire. And I'm working on it today to see if I can do it. TikTok has a new thing called series where you can sell like a series. So what I'm going to do is chop up a bootleg versus, throw it on there, and price it at like $5 or something like that. Because people are always like, man, I missed it. I want to hear it, blah, blah, blah. If you miss it, then you shoot $5 or whatever and check it out. Might throw some of the lives on there where we do different years or different artists specifically and put them on there for like $2. If you want to hear it, you want to have it, they like $2, something like that. But anyway, you're going to see me even more if you're on that app. And we're going to see where we can take this thing because ain't no time like the present and time doesn't wait for anybody. So we're either going to do it or we not. So, and I keep saying we, it's me, it's I, but it's we, the people, you know, that's it.
That's it. Yep. So we'll be back sooner or later. We'll let you know when with another SBP live. There's a little bit to talk about. We're still waiting on Dame Lillard news and some other things. So at some point we'll be back on with that. Of course, we got Know the Ledge. We'll be back here within the next week or two, maybe a week, to talk top 50 list. And then, of course, at some point or another, there are going to be at least another couple of movie runbacks on running back before we get into this football season. We got some ideas on that as well. So, as always, thanks, G, for coming on. For my man, Source, I am Prime. Always Know the Ledge. We out.